Hello, YouTube. Okay, so round 2 of the Fide tournament, I played someone who was from my state, who also drove to New Mexico to play, but I had never actually played him before, which was interesting. He's like 2100. I didn't really know much about how he played, except for that I've noticed that he plays really fast, and sometimes he loses games quickly because of it, but he also wins games quickly. So, Daniel told me he plays Benoni and the King's Indian, but weird. So that's what I went off of. So, as our friend, the fucking theoretical buzzsaw, as we know him, according to him, this is a Catalan. We play knight c3 first before knight f3, so black cannot play d5. After d6 is played, we can play knight f3, and knight d7, castle, e5. So this line might look a little familiar to some people, because this is actually the exact line that Grandmaster Sam Cannon played against me. But this time I knew what I was doing because I got killed in it, and I was like, man, I should really look at that. So I kind of get it a little bit more now. So I didn't have to spend nearly as much time in the opening to figure it out. Also, I forgot to say this. So in USCF tournaments, there is an hour of time in between games. I mean, before a game that you have to show up before you get forfeited. So the start time plus an hour is how long you have to show up before you get forfeited. In Fide, this is not the case. You're either there at the start or you're not. And my opponent was not, so I could have had a forfeit win. And I didn't. Just saying. Could have. Just putting that out there. But I was like, I don't know. It's Fide. I need the points. Okay. So h3 is correct. We don't want this happening or something. I don't know. Rook e8. Rook e1. And this is, this was all theory. I played all this instantly. So Mr. Cannon played a6 against me. And a6 is a sneaky move, because after rook b1, he played h6, even sneakier. And the point of h6, as we learned, is that h6 prevents b4. And the reason we want to play b4 is because we can't easily develop our bishop without hanging this pawn. So the game went like this, and then the point is here we have knight g5 because of h6. And black is better, slightly. So, and yeah, if we take, this is actually very bad for white. This is what happened in my game with Sam. But I knew that. But anyway, he played bishop d7, which is not very good. What's the bishop doing there? I don't know. I played rook b1. This is the best move in all of chess, especially in this position. Yeah, h6 prevents b4. I know. It's crazy. Blew my mind. But yeah, obviously I didn't figure that over the board, so I actually played b4, which was wrong. I played rook b1, preparing b4. We have to play rook b1 before b4 because of the problems on the dark squares with our rook and our knight. Then my opponent played a5, preventing b4. But that's okay, we played b3. Now we're probably going to develop the bishop onto b2 rather than e3. And I don't know, white is just better. Like, the way that black has played has just not been good. The bishop does not belong here, a5 is useless. I don't know how black is supposed to play, but this is not it. So, he played another bad move, but apparently h6 is good here. And then, yeah, I could do this, maybe. Or this. No, not that. Oh, it would probably have to be this knight, yeah, because I have to open this. Such a stupid fuck. Okay, back to the game. Knight e6 is played. Knight e6 is a very, very bad move. So I thought for a while here, because there's just a lot happening. So the factors in this position are this pawn is a big thing. Like if I just play knight d to b5 now, which is like usually a fine thing to do if they've pushed the h pawn or the a pawn, because they can't kick you out anymore now that the d pawn is hanging. So basically, if they can't play c6, you can just put a knight on b5. So it's good. Thank you for the raid, Pizza Boy. So yeah, I could do that, but my move is better because I am good at chess. So I noticed that if I take on e6, he doesn't actually have a good way to respond. So knight takes e6. The bishop is pretty misplaced on d7, but it's even more so on e6. I think that's the best way to recapture, but it's incorrect. It's the best way, but it's incorrect because what he did was his whole position is incorrect. This is just all not good. Okay, so I can just play like queen c2 here, and he doesn't have bishop c6 ever. Other than that, it's just not doing anything there. And I can do this and this and this maybe. Or bishop e3. I mean, bishop e3 probably, yeah. And his pieces are just goofy. They don't... Where would the knight be happy? I guess here. Yeah, so like probably knight d7. But I go bishop e3. If here... It's not like he has another knight, so I can just ignore it. I could just play rook d1. And at some point, I'm probably playing f4 and e5, or f4... Maybe f5, I don't even know. But the bishop just sucks here. It's just looking at a pawn, and it's blocking the rook, and it's just in the way. It's stupid. That's what I think. Taking it with the pawn is incorrect because of e5. That should go without saying. I don't know how to explain this if you don't get it. It's either something you get or you don't. But my opponent chose rook takes e6. Which surprised me, because if you thought the bishop was bad on e6 or misplaced there, I mean, look at the rook. I didn't get it. I just developed a piece, and then bishop c6 was instantly played, and I just thought this was very, very odd, because now I can play knight d5, and he can't get rid of it with a knight, because he gets forked. So I just thought this was just bad. My knight is on d5, he can't kick it out. And my bishop is very, very good. This bishop is very good. It's hard. I don't know. It's just I don't really know what white's doing here. It's bad. Thanks for the Twitch Prime. Spy NES. I'm assuming that's what that says. But my opponent had thought this all through apparently, because he instantly takes on d5. So he's giving up a bishop voluntarily. I'm assuming it's because he thought I was going to play this move, which I would never do, because it's stupid. I played c takes d, and now, okay, so let's pay attention to the pawn structure here. What's the weakest pawn in this area? Well, I'll tell you, it's the c pawn. Now, in order to be defended, this pawn has to either be defended by pieces or it has to move, but moving doesn't do it any good because of tactics like these. And I just opened the c file, so I have an easy access point to attack that pawn. Also, if the c pawn ever moves, the d pawn is instantly weak, which is something that I'm sure you all know. And then we go back to e8. So basically the last few moves my opponent made just kind of helped me, and that was all that happened. Still not enough for me to win. But rook c1 is the best move. And yeah, it's just hard to defend this because I can just double the rooks this way if I want to. I mean, not right now, but this can happen. It's just very, very difficult. 1200 Grunfeld games. That sounds amazing. Why are you playing the Grunfeld if you're 1200? Can I... Like, who told you to do that? Or was it something you decided to do? It's kind of weird. Okay, so knight d7. And he's trying to put his knight on a semi-decent square. He's also attacking my bishop, so I have to move it. So I take, and I played queen d4 check, centralizing the queen, gaining more tempi. And I couldn't be happier. I just couldn't. Maybe some people think this bishop is like, oh, but your bishop is bad because it's looking at these pawns. These pawns are going to be mobile soon. I can do this, or I can just build up this way and just take that pawn. If he doesn't take it, I'm opening everything up. I can also play h3, bishop h3, or h4, bishop h3. It's another thing I can do. So, you know, that's what I did. I played h4. Foreseeing any situations with rook c8, and just kind of just like gimp suiting him, if you will. And he has to play this very ugly move, rook e7. I mean, I guess he doesn't have to, but he thought he did. So he's moved this rook many times in this game, and it's still bad. If you have to move a piece like 5 times for it to be good, like actually good, I would think about it, you know? But if you're moving it 5 times and it still sucks, I think you've done something wrong. So anyway, he has to stay behind the safety belt here, or he will die. So now I go ahead with f4, which is the best move again. So this is sad, because I would say this is the game that I, percentage-wise, played the best, but it was the only game I lost this weekend. And this makes me really question my existence and whether anything is worth doing or anything I do matters, because when I play really well, I lose. And when I'm lost out of the opening, I win. What's up with that? Like, that seems so dumb. I guess you can attribute it to the difference in ratings, but it just feels... We live in a simulation. It just feels so random. And it made me feel a little bit better because, you know, I had that big losing streak, and it really can be attributed to luck, bad luck. And because it's really rare for 1600s to not make any mistakes against a 2000 and just play well. But it happened to me like 3 or 4 times. I guess there were 17, 1800, but anyway. Chess hard. Okay, so knight c5. Listen. I think in blitz, bullet, or even regular chess, most people above like 1600 would instantly take on c5, right? Or am I wrong? What does chat think? Can I get a poll to see if we would take on c5 or not? My keyboard is dead, so if there is a mod in chat, please do that. Not instantly. Well, if you don't do it instantly, he'll probably play b6, which is Daniel and I are on the same page. I didn't think that it was necessary, because it's still not a good piece there. It's his best piece, but it's still not good. My rook is still better than his knight. The thing is that, okay, like Brian Wall, without any thought, would take on c5 because he's the pawn wave guy. Exchange sack pawn wave. And it was very tempting. But I also have like 5 other very tempting moves. So rook takes c5 is a mistake, technically. So queen d6 is very annoying here. Like, if I trade queens, I mean, it's gonna be more difficult for me, because his queen is not good back here, but letting his queen out is one less problem. It's not the best move, it's a mistake, as I just said. So I had my one of my biggest thinks of the game here, because I have many options. So here are the options: e5, rook c3, rook e3, h5, g4. Also, like bishop f3, king f2. Like, you know, I have a lot of good options, and this is a big case. Big case. This is a good example of too many good options. I like those 2 comments next to each other. G4 looks the most weakening. G4 was my thought. So I played one of these moves. So here's the thing with e5, okay? e5, queen f8. Queen f8 probably has a response to every move, by the way. And putting a queen on g7 is extremely annoying. Like, what is my follow-up in this position? I do think it could be argued that taking here makes more sense. I do think that now this move has a lot more merit because there is no queen d6. So if you're gonna sack the exchange, I would do it here. And I think white is better here. I think that's a good option. Also, instead of queen f8, I could also go b6 if I want to avoid that. But still, the question is, what is our follow-up? So, okay, queen f8. I mean, this move is not working. I just take it. And, like, queen f5 is like, what? You're getting out of this somehow? And then this square is a big problem. I have to be careful not to leave that square with my queen. Bishop h3 now? With idea of e6, I assume? I will probably play b6. And then e6 here, like queen g7? Or maybe rook a8? Let's say queen g7. This was what was giving me the most trouble in my head in every variation. I was very not down with the idea of him getting control over this diagonal, and I would lose control over it, and I'd have to move my queen like a bitch. I was not a fan of that. That was not something I wanted to allow. This is a lot easier to defend, I thought. I don't want to lose all control over the dark squares if it doesn't get me anywhere. You know? So this might make you understand why I played the move I played, is that my main concern was queen f8 to g7. And I tried to stop it in a kind of a goofy way. But what is our plan? Long term, or just what move would you play here, I guess is a good question. You want to double here? Probably. h5? So h5 was actually the move I played in the game. Actually, this is a direct transposition into my game. But, so I guess it doesn't matter that much. But, I guess you could play it slow and just do this or this, you know. Eventually he's gonna run out of good moves, because his pieces suck. That's the thing, though. All of these options are good. There's no wrong answer. Except for g4. g4 is wrong. G4 is wrong because of f5, which I think is pretty fucked up. But, and then I had to do some crazy analysis here. Or like, what did all the, I thought I did like a shit ton, but I guess it went away. I don't know. What's happening with the chat? There we go. Cosmetic Knight. Correct. Thank you, Twitch Alias, for the tier 1 sub. So, f5 shuts this down. I mean, we could go into it, but for time's sake. So the best move is the one that Josh wanted to play, of course. And Josh liked rook c3. And he explained to me, maybe this is obvious to most people. I think it maybe should be, but to me it wasn't. But I think it probably will be now. So the reason, okay, the two best moves are rook c3 and then rook e3. Or, I mean, no, I'm such an idiot. I'm speaking backwards. Rook e3 is the best, rook c3 is second best. Okay, and the reason you wouldn't play this move is not that it really matters, but this way the rook is still defended. So, I mean, that's about it, actually. And this way it's just everything's slightly more loose. Even though it's happening, like, I thought that was just a nice little insight into a master's mind. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. The idea of doubling the rooks is just getting in there. Just playing it slow. We don't have to go for a kingside attack. That's just how I am, so I thought that's what I had to do. It felt like the position called for it. Because his pieces are stupid. A lot of them are sidelined on the other side of the board, you know, away from the king. He has weaknesses all around his king. and all my pieces are active. Those are all the things that you need for a kingside attack, you know? So I played h5 here, which is fine. It's definitely not close to the best move. Inaccurate. So my idea is, at some point, basically, it wasn't really based on calculation and more on just like the general soul of the position. So, okay, when the queen comes to f8, since my biggest fear is queen g7, I wanted to get my queen on this diagonal so that the queen can't defend the rook and be on g7. It can't be two places at once. And then I want to take control over the dark squares, basically. Yeah, we looked at rook takes e5. Rook takes e5 here is bad. But if you prepare it with e5, then rook takes e5, it's good. Although, you're running the risk of b6, and then you have to come up with the plan anyway. So, but anyway, so h5, and yeah, if he takes, he's just opening the h-file for no reason. So we play king f2, rook h1, and not good. I am alpha 0. Now, queen f8 is what my opponent played. So I can't really go queen f6 right away because it... Whoa. Because it hangs this fork here. Which I don't know. I don't know if I had really thoroughly thought about it. But I figured now it's time to play e5. And if my opponent does nothing, I was actually about to take on c5 at this point. I thought, like, this move and then here seemed maybe interesting. Or even, like, I might even play bishop f1 to b5, actually. Because the bishop's kind of done doing a job here. And I have all the time in the world to reroute, so I might do that. Anyway, then my opponent played b6. And I had a moment of, man, maybe I should have taken on c5. But I was right. I was just kind of gaslighting myself. So I'm already running low on time here. Okay, so I spent 10 minutes here until I had 30 minutes left. It's only move 24 though, so it's kind of low on time for how early it is in the game. And again, I have so many options. So yeah, we transposed into some variation we looked at with e5 first. There's going to be a lot of transpositions when every move you have is a good move. So again, options. Rook e3, rook c3, e6 maybe even, g4, f5, bishop f3. All pretty much the same as the other position, except for h5 and e5. But here there's only like one correct way to play. But I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable. What do we think here? Chief. Game 90, 30-second increment. So I had already spent an hour on the first 24 moves of the game. f5 looks the weirdest, so you know that's what I played. Bishop h3 is probably good too. You're right. It's hard to find a bad move. Like, you could also do bishop f1 actually, and just start light square control over here as well. Weird move strats, yes. Look for the weirdest move on the board. That's what I played. Rook e3, best move. Again. King g2 is illegal. Otherwise, it would probably be good too. Yeah. Also, the second best move is e6. But what I didn't like about e6, and it is semi-significantly, does that make sense? Anyway, worse than rook e3. So what I didn't like about e6 is, again, queen g7. So this is like, I'm definitely really overestimating this. I didn't know where to put my queen after this. Like, queen c4, and now he's taking here, and like, what is happening? And then I played this for a little while with Josh, and then like he was like, yeah, I don't know, this is not good. But so queen c4 G takes h5, rook e3. Rook e3, man. It's a good move. I just don't get the position. Like, I am having trouble figuring out what the plan is. Because it seems like none of my breaks are that good. And that I've lost my advantage if I play e6. That's what it seemed like to me. So f5 is getting my idea with h5 in, basically. It's like, it's doing it now. Yeah, e6 is unnecessarily committal, but so is f5. But as we said, the idea behind h5 for me was to put the queen on this diagonal, and then the queen can't be two places at once, and then the queen can't be on g7. And then I just swing the rook over this way. g4 was never needed. And it looks kind of scary for him. So, I thought 100% he would play rook takes e5. And I actually was kind of... I don't think I considered this long enough. Because I think... Because I can't do this, you know. I think black is just, like, totally fine here. Like, I think I've just allowed him to equalize. Like, I don't really have any advantage anymore. But it was one of those things where I felt like I had already fucked it up. Because nothing was really working for me. And it feels like an urgent position. So I felt like I had to do something. But apparently I just build up. I'm really bad at understanding when to do that. And in positions where it's obvious I'm good at it. Where it's like... I don't know. When it's obvious it should be a slow play position, I'm better at it. But it's not obvious here, because I pushed all my pawns. How soon does the computer play e6? That is a good question. Right, this is on a low depth and it's a terrible computer, so... e6 right away. What? What the fuck is happening? Black is alive here? b5? What the fuck? And if I take... You just play king h8 and get out of the pin, and then black is like totally fine. Whoa. So you play queen e2 and queen f5. Yeah, that's always annoying. How is this that good for white? I don't understand. This doesn't even look good at all for white. This looks bad. Only one move to keep the advantage, otherwise white is worse, and it's queen d2, which does something, probably. I don't know what. Was it attacking the a pawn? I don't know. None of this makes sense. Fuck this. Anyway. So I was going through... Because I was seeing lines where it was just similar to that. Like, obviously not that. But even the computer lines, I don't like how they look. So it's just like an ugly position, I suppose. So I was feeling a bit discouraged. That's why I kind of played f5. And then he just instantly plays d takes e, which totally justifies what I did. So now I'm happy again. And we play queen h4, obviously. We're not taking there, that's stupid. And after rook a to e8, I'm like plus 1.5. And so, you know, it's good that the position I was trying to make happen was a good position. It's bad that to get there I had to, you know, make bad moves. But it's good that I evaluated this correctly, is what I'm gonna go with. Okay, critical position. I missed his only resource that works in almost every line, and that is why I lost this chess game. How to continue. And the really sad thing about this, I was considering the best move and the move I played, which is a blunder. And I had 20 minutes left, and I knew that I wouldn't have time to have a bathroom break once I went under those 20 minutes because it was going to be complicated. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make a move that seems solid. I'm going to find a reason not to play the other move. I'm going to find a reason, like his best response to my move, and then I'm going to play it, and I'm going to get up, and I'm going to take my last break before time pressure endgame. And I blundered, I got up all happy, and then he instantly smacked this move down that I thought was not possible. And then I had to just sit back down, and I did not get to go to the bathroom. And then I lost. And then I pissed my pants. Just kidding. Anyway, I really paint a picture, you know? Rook c5 bc5, bishop e4 possible here. I mean, it's interesting. Like, the exchange stack is still kind of interesting in some cases because his pawns are so bad, but it's never necessary because his knight is already bad. So there's just no reason to do it. So I'll let you know the 2 moves I was looking at. I was looking at bishop h3 and h6. Or not h6. H takes g6, yeah. h6 is nonsense. Sorry. One move is correct, and one move is not correct. So the reason you would play bishop h3 is to prepare f6, because if my bishop is on h3 and I play f6, the rook is trapped. And if you play rook d7, then I take on c5, takes bishop d7, and I'm just up a piece. And the reason you would play h takes g6 would be to prevent queen h6. The question is, do you need to? H takes g6 looks strong, threatens mate. Okay, too artificial. So no one's gonna find, like, the right idea. I know this for sure. Unless they're looking at an engine or they're a chess player. What is the idea behind d6, h takes g? Yeah. So my thinking was wrong. So you can play d6, I'd probably play rook d7. So it's harder to get bishop d5 in, I guess. Like, I don't think I'll take that voluntarily, but okay. So yeah, I missed the resource of g5, is what I missed. I was like, okay, queen h6 needs to be looked at, so I did. I looked at it. I was like, bishop h3, queen h6, f6, and I was like, knight d3 doesn't lead to anything, even though this can happen. I thought that was the idea behind it. It's not. Knight d3 right away. I was like, I just played this probably. Yeah, and if you take, again, the rook is still trapped. So like this one. Yeah, and then we're just doing this. Oh, so that he probably takes this rook. I feel like black's holding here. So what was it that I saw? Oh yeah, I mean, okay, I just take back and the rook's still trapped. I'm such a dingus. Yeah, and this is fine. This is good. So I thought that was his trick. I thought the trick was knight d3 and then, you know, going back to d3. But I can just recapture. So I was like, okay, that's the idea. And I tried to look at all the forward moves here, except for g5. And I'm just lost after g5. It's really fucked up, because it feels like I should be able to play queen f2. like, it felt that way. So I didn't play f6, because I realized that that was bad. So the reason we play h takes g6 is, okay, no queen h6, but also, oops. So yeah, so the guy had the right idea, but we play it in this position, and this is already check here. So if takes, we play bishop d5, and then f6, and this is a big fucking problem. Or not right now, but I play rook f1 and then here. And that is the best way to continue the game. And black should probably just play rook f7. It's that bad. So I didn't really see that idea at all. It didn't ever cross my mind during the game. But yeah, I was like, I don't know. Queen h6 doesn't do anything. But it does. So I'm only like -1 here if I trade queens. But what did I do? I did something weird. I don't know. My score sheet didn't really make much sense at this point. But I lost. I don't know. That was the main part of the game. The score sheet is very hard to read. I think I played like rook f1, which is just bad. I don't know. This don't make no sense, but it's okay. Anyway, yeah, I missed this idea, and when we were analyzing it, I was analyzing it with a few people. This move came up like several times. It was very weird, even when the queen is not supporting it. Well, it gets messed up when I start losing because I don't care as much, and then I start scribbling. Yeah. I'm like, I get all mad, and then I just get it in there, you know? Emotional chess players. Women, am I right? Anyway, I don't know. It sucked. I don't know. I played the opening okay, and then I had too many good options, and then I tripped over my own foot and died. So, that was that game.